What's up guys, back in December when season 6 started, I made a guide on Soraka, and across the season she's had some changes, so I wanted to do a little update video to answer some of the comments I've been receiving and discuss whether or not she's still viable in ranked play. The main changes to Soraka since the last video are that her Q now heals her over time instead of an instant heal, and that the W cooldown has almost been doubled in its earlier ranks. These changes impact Soraka in a few ways, so let's explore them. First off, that almost double cooldown at earlier ranks means that your playstyle and influence in bot lane early game is far less forgiving, and you need to be more cautious of managing the health bars instead of just relying on the low cooldown of your heal. Secondly, in my last video, people discussed the idea of using skill points in Starcall early. This increases the self-sustain and poke early game. Most enemies cannot keep up with how much self-healing you're doing if you're landing all of your skill shots. Players started to opt out to more ability power to boost the potential of this early poke and sustain. So a third point that was raised was about the item build. Due to the heaviness of the durability, we became aware of how much we could be drowning out Soraka's potential if we used ability power. Whilst I still think that Warmog's armor is a great item for Soraka, my itemization and playstyle have adopted to the current meta, and I believe she is still a kick-ass champion with a simple yet effective spell kit. Soraka's item build, skill order, and playstyle early game has completely changed, but once you reach mid game and onwards, you can go back to your old ways. So for her skill order, I try and invest 3 points into heal early game to get the cooldown at 5 seconds. Then towards mid game, I move more points into Q for the self-sustain and poke. I aim to push enemies out of the lane over time to free objectives or turrets. And last I max out E, because I feel like its potential is best in team fights. Prioritize it for champions if required, otherwise use it to peel or CC enemies and prevent burst from them as well. The option of maxing W first is always there, and it can be essential on games when you just simply need more healing. However, cooldown reduction has always been a friend of Soraka's, so I wanted to see on average how much we have at different points in the game. So let's explore Soraka's item build. Now, starting Spell Thief's Edge with Soraka gives her some good stats and better poke. However, the extra cooldown from the ancient coin might now be desirable. This would give Soraka 10% in combination with her Masteries at level 1. I still prioritize cooldown reduction as I'm leveling up, and I upgrade my support item or my sightstone and buy a forbidden idol to take me to 25%, and at rank 3 this reduces the cooldown of your heal by over a second. Grab boots at some point before mid game, and then move on to grab an ardent censer in most games. I still think Athene's Unholy Grail is a good item, and it resolves any mana problems indefinitely, as well as Morello's for the potential to reduce enemy sustain, but either of these items will race you to 45% CDR. Let's say that you buy neither of these and acquire a Mikkel's Crucible against teams with high crowd control, or consider Zeke's Harbinger against heavy AD teams, or Locket of the Iron Solari against AP teams. That's potentially another 2 items, which takes you to 45%. However, most situations only require one of these, and the final 10% can come from Warmog's armor, although Spirit Visage can be equally beneficial, especially versus high AP teams. Whichever you choose, the benefits for Warmogs will shine through towards late game, and other excellent choices can be Ryla's Crystal Scepter, the Zwart Portal, or Luden's Echo. Choose your boots reflective of your enemies, and my final point is to try and not build over 45% CDR. It's potentially just wasting gold. Finally, I feel that her playstyle and her allies' playstyle must now appreciate that there's far less sustain early game, so avoid meaty trades and go for the win over time. Once you reach level 6, you begin to have enough self-sustain and cooldown reduction to become a real problem. You can then start to trade and poke enemies frequently with Starcall. Being patient will win you the lane over time here. As you progress through mid-game, continue to roam but with your allies, and avoid any solo plays. Keep requiring cooldown reduction and retain vision, and get other stats to enhance the ability of your other spells greatly. I've always said that you need to make yourself a difficult target in the game. Avoid any aggressive positioning. Always try and stand in a place that the enemy is going to struggle to get to you. My Masteries still feature Windspeaker's Blessing and the benefits within the Cunning and Resolve tree for the support players. And my runes include ability power, health, armor, and if required, magic resistance instead of extra ability power. I hope this video helps some of you understand that Soraka can still be played effectively. However, her playstyle early must change, and her skill order and itemization should reflect cooldown reduction as a priority to offset the changes as quickly as you can as you progress throughout the game. I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Bye!